folks, it's Dominique back here with you. I've taken a short break for a while, and as you can probably tell, I am on the road on my way back from a trip. I've recently thrown my back out very seriously and kind of injured myself therein, and that is why you have not heard from me as much as I would like for you to have. That's why we haven't talked lately, and so I do appreciate and thank you so much for hanging in there and bearing with me through this time. Hopefully my next vacation will be much more enjoyable, and I hope that all of you are enjoying your summers in safe, healthy, non-injured, and happy ways. I hope that you can all hear me okay, as I am not going to be holding my phone throughout the duration of this drive for reasons of safety. So please let me know if you cannot hear me well. And like I've said before, we will adjust the parameters of any future kind of road trip broadcasts. I just feel that, during a road trip is a really good time to get on the air, discuss some topics that I'm very familiar with, that I don't need program notes for, and just kind of get the message out there to you guys. So just to be totally upfront and honest with all of you, I am absolutely advertising my business right now, and I want to tell you that what I'm going to share with you has worked for me, okay? This is not something that I am sitting around, lazily sort of telling folks to do without having tested it out myself, right? Because you know me, and you know I wouldn't do that to you. So there you go. That is my best possible advertisement for what I'm about to tell you. Now, I do have a printout and an online document that is going to very shortly here be an ebook format, and I am going to make that available on my website, on my business Facebook page, and you can keep track of what's going on there at Trinity SS Wellness on Facebook. Look me up. If you'd like to book an appointment yourself and you'd like for me to assist you on your journey to getting a loved one, an ex, perhaps a family member or somebody you care for, maybe a friend that will talk to you back in your life. If you want my assistance as a coach, a lifestyle consultant, as a psychotherapist even, please feel free to email me at trinitysswellnessandconsulting@gmail.com. Again, that email is trinitysswellnessandconsulting@gmail.com, and that is my temporary business email address while our new website is going up. So please stick with me for the rest of this show, because like I said, this is something that I think every single person out there can benefit from, and this procedure is something that has worked for me personally. So I know that I have given you some real life examples from my own life, as well as some client stories and anecdotes as to, what's going on, and just letting you know that I'm a human being. I'm right there with you. My life is not perfect by any stretch, and so I feel that's an important thing to share. And so I've shared with you before that I have a loved one who's been in an abusive situation for quite a while. This is somebody who is experiencing a degree of sort of Stockholm syndrome from their abuse, and this is somebody who has ghosted on me numerous times because they don't have the coping skills to maintain a healthy relationship with a loved one, really. Okay, so I want to let you guys know that, like I said, I've been there. I've used this procedure myself. It worked for me. Okay, so there was a period in my life, just because I feel like I'm the biggest success story that I've had with this procedure that I've got to get back your loved one, win back your ex, whether it be an ex-lover, an ex-friend, an ex, partner of some sort, an ex family member. You know, I think I'm just the best success story that I can find in my business that I can possibly share with you guys. So please allow me to do that, because I want to let you know that even in the most extreme of circumstances, you can get this person back into your life. The only thing you'll need is access to them via email, via Messenger, WhatsApp, text. And it's got to be a written form of communication. That's the key here, folks. It's not going to be verbal communication. We're not going to be calling people up on the phone. That is a little weird, especially if you haven't talked in a while. No matter how close or not close you were in the past, really calling somebody up, not appropriate if you've not talked in a while, or if you've had conflict followed by a period of silence. So. And this works for folks who've been ghosted on. It works for folks who are literally in hate relationships. Like, this person cannot stand you, does not want to speak to you, hates your guts, wants nothing to do with you. It works for people who are in situations where the person is indifferent about them. Just, doesn't really kind of care either way, or just really hasn't reached out, doesn't seem interested. It works for people who are in a situation where the person really loves and cares for them, and they just, for whatever reason, can't reach out and can't make that effort. Like I mentioned in my situation, where this person is being abused by a narcissist and has been for many, many, many years. So it'll work for you no matter what situation you're in, no matter how the person feels about you, no matter how you feel about this person. Though I would, of course, suggest don't use this, not using this procedure if you really aren't serious about getting this person back into your life. So there was a period in time where I hadn't spoken to my loved one for something like 2 or 3 years. This person had ghosted on me, as the kids say. They had ghosted on me. They had completely cut me out of their life. Had I done anything to enable that or to spur that on? Absolutely not. I didn't say anything to them that was hurtful or inappropriate. I didn't, argue or fight with them. It was a simple ultimatum from their abuser that you cannot have loved ones in your life. You've got to cut these people out, or, there will be consequences for you. And so that is why, in my personal situation, I did not end up speaking to this person for several years. So after just kind of doing some research and doing some writing, and just, of course, continuing to think about this person that I cared about for years after we had stopped talking, and, after having that be something that was weighing on my mind, as I'm sure it is with those of you who are going through this, I thought, what? No, this is not gonna stand. I've got to do something about this. We're not gonna just stay in this situation, this holding pattern, right? Because it's not good for anybody. And I thought, at the very least, I'll get some resolution, we'll get some sort of closure, maybe we'll have a nice chat, and that'll be that, right? And of course, in my mind, and I'm sure this is where a lot of you guys are going to be coming from too, before we start working together. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I'm going to do my best, but really there is no way in hell this person is going to ever talk to me again. And if they do talk to me, it'll be a quick, hey, glad to hear from you. Bye. Nice to see ya. Keep moving. Well, so I definitely did come in with a very realistic perspective. I didn't think, oh my gosh, the second I text this person, they are just going to welcome me back with open arms and just fall all over themselves apologizing and things will be perfect. I mean, no, of course not. So in my mind, and this is what I would, of course, encourage those of you to do that will be working with me to get an ex back or a loved one back into your life that won't speak with you. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to, again, first and foremost, make sure you have a way to contact them. Could be looking them up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even the weirdest app that you could think of. Something.
Watch out, vehicle stop.
Apologies. My GPS is off, and yet it is talking to me during a broadcast while my phone is on silent. Welcome to my world with funky technology. I do apologize. So anyway, you have to, even if it's a weird way to contact them, like I said, like maybe a work email, and that might sound totally inappropriate, but please stick with me on this, because we're not going to be launching into long expositions or, sending them sonnets or love poems. It's literally going to be a one sentence, boom, to the point, sort of drive-by compliment, boom, leave it, drop it. It's a throwaway line, leave them wanting more, and that is where we're going to start. In order to do that, you have to have access to them through writing, folks. I cannot overemphasize how important this is. I have had one client try this through like video chat, and absolutely against my recommendation. His situation did end up working out, but it got off to a rocky start. So please understand that you need to make sure that you are able to talk to this person in writing. So important for a number of reasons, and I will discuss some of those reasons right now very briefly with you. There's a lot that goes into this, so please stay with me because it will change your life. Basically, the reason that we're going to want to contact this person via writing in some form is it takes the sense of anxiousness, anxiety, nervousness out of the equation. B, it takes the immediacy out of the equation. And C, it is impersonal enough, and this is just reverse psychology, but it is impersonal enough that it's going to make that person wonder and kind of think, that's weird. I'm getting an email from this person that maybe otherwise would have called me or would have stopped by or what have you. Wow, well, that's interesting. I'm getting literally a one-sentence email from this person, and it's going to pique their interest. As you hear in show business, leave them wanting more. I mean, that is essentially the idea here. Leave them wanting more, leave them guessing, leave them wondering, in a positive way, of course, not in an abusive way, of course. So, we're going to want to leave them wanting more at all times. And I think the very best way to do that and to accomplish all of those things that I just mentioned is to contact them via writing, via like a text or email app. And like I said, be creative. If you can only find their work email, of course, if you can find something else, please use something else. But if you can only find their work email, their Skype, their LinkedIn, what have you, use it. Nothing is off limits, and that is the beauty of this program. It works perfectly. Nothing is off limits. So, so far I have had a 100% success rate with the utilization of this program. And so in addition to being able to get a hold of this person in writing, I need for you to be able to exercise a little bit of restraint and a little bit of patience, in that we're not going to explain ourselves. We're not going to ask any questions of the person. We're not going to explain ourselves. We're not going to say, oh my gosh, right off the bat, we fought, and I know we fought, and this is why, and here's how I was feeling, and this is why I said this, and here's why I said that. No. Throw that away. That's not going to be part of your narrative right now. We are not going to go there. And that's, again, part of the beauty of this situation, that this person is not going to feel pressured. All they're going to feel is curious at first. And then as we move along, we're going to try to kind of pull on their heartstrings a little bit and have them remembering some of the good times they've had with us. So we're going to send between 12 and 26 messages to this person. And depending on how they respond to each message that we send, we're going to craft a new message each time. and kind of play upon and build upon any connection that we have established. Okay? So, the best way to do this is, again, to take any sort of egotism out of it. Egotism is not going to help us. So don't explain yourself. Don't apologize, at least not right off the bat. And don't ask the person anything. So think about that. Just take a moment and think about this yourself for a minute. So think of somebody that you haven't heard from in years. Maybe you want to hear from them, maybe you don't, but you haven't heard from them in years, and you did have a significant connection with them in the past. And think about how you would feel if this person left you a long-winded, drunk voicemail explaining how everything they said when you fought with them was totally right and you're a total jerk, right? You're not going to feel too good about that, are you? Think about how you would feel if this person sent you a barrage of long-winded text messages about how they're so sorry. Oh my gosh, they're so sorry, and why won't you forgive them? And oh my gosh, why won't you talk to them? And oh, they're so upset, and oh my gosh, they feel so bad. Again, you're probably going to feel a little overwhelmed, and you're not going to think very highly of that person, right? So now I want you to think about it, from the other perspective. Think about how you would feel if you got a 1-sentence long email from this person. It didn't ask you any questions. They didn't try to explain themselves. It just said something like, you know what? I just checked out your Facebook profile, and I gotta tell you, I am so glad to see you smile. That makes my day. I mean, that's all they say. Of course, your interest is going to be piqued, and you're not going to feel that level of discomfort and that level of, all of the bad things that you experienced coming back down on you. You're going to feel like your interest has been piqued. So what we're going to do, and my plan sort of differs from some of the other coaches out there in that I like to really take my time. There are definitely people out there who would suggest, send them a message every day. And if that works for you, that's fine. We're going to make sure, however, if you're working with me at least and following my program, we're going to make sure that you follow it word for word. And that is where I come in. If you would like to read my ebook, awesome. If you would like to read the instructional manual, awesome. But if you want to really be able to succeed and make sure that you have one-on-one attention, work with me. We'll set up a plan, and you can work with me on this. And maybe this is the only thing you want to accomplish with me while we're working together. And maybe it's not. Either way, that's fine. Maybe we sign on for a month's period of time just simply to accomplish this one goal. And that's okay. Maybe we sign an agreement wherein you make sure that I am available for texts, for calls, for emails on the fly, so that you are able to respond appropriately when the time comes, and so that you're able to craft specific and personal messages to this person, right? So these are some of your options. Again, you can always just read the ebook. I would suggest, if you feel like you're going to need that extra push or that extra level of support and help, book me for a month. Let's sign a retainer for 1 month, and I can pretty much guarantee you that after that period of time, as long as you follow my instructions to the letter, you will be talking to this person again. So, pretty cool, huh? So, what I am going to suggest to you is that we wait at least 1 day before we send the second message. So, we're going to try to send at least 2 to 3 messages per week. Now, you know this person best. You know their texting style, you know their email style, you know their style of speech, you know a little bit about their boundaries, right? So, you know this person best. And if you feel that, say, messaging them twice a week is not going to quite cut it and they're going to lose interest, I trust you because you know them. I don't know them. If you feel that giving them a little bit more space and kind of leaving them hanging for a couple of days is a better option, again, you know them better. You know them best. So I'm going to leave that up to you. But I suggest waiting at least 24 hours before sending each 1 to 2 sentence message. Now, the first message you send to this person, I would really suggest that it definitely be 1 sentence, no longer. I know it's really tempting to explain yourself and to really sort of launch into some kind of an apology or explanation of some sort. Don't do it. Don't do it. Resist the urge. 1 sentence. Like I said, it could be something like, wow, it sure is good to see your wonderful smile again. It sure is good to see you happy and smiling. That really makes my day, right? And in fact, although something like that is totally appropriate, I would even suggest, if you can, trying to stay away from referencing yourself. So stay away from being too self-referential. I this, me that, I that, right? You don't need to be super self-referential, and you don't need to be referring to the person in question. Just something like, boy, it sure is good to see that smile on your face. That is a really wonderful thing. That is a really wonderful thing, right? There you go, really simple message. And you might think, wow, that's just not enough to pull this person's attention. But you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. And, of course, this is only step 1 on like a 24-step path, right? So each step is going to kind of compound and build on, like I mentioned before, the step that we've completed previously. So if we say that it's wonderful to see them smile and that's just a beautiful thing in the first message, let's say we wait at least 24 hours, if not 48, in between messages, and then we say something like, depending on who the person is to you, saying something like, that sure is something that's been missing from my life, or that sure is something that's been missed, right? Again, trying not to be too self-referential. So if you use I, me, you in the first message, try to stay away from it in the second message. So, second message could be that sure is something special to see. That's something that's really been missing. That's something that's very much been missed. So, building on each message from there, we are going to continue with our plan to message this person through whatever medium we have chosen. Stick with the same medium if you can. And look, I'm going to tell you, if you're blocked, if you are told to go jump in a lake, what have you, I really don't want you to quit messaging them. Now, please don't stalk, harass, harry, bother, molest, any other synonymous word with bug the shit out of this person. Please don't do that, because that's not what we're trying to accomplish. But if you can, I want you to keep going and at least complete this program and let this person sit and kind of think on what you've said for a while, right? So, I mean, unless the person literally has threatened to call the police or, file a restraining order, which if they do, there's either something wrong with them or something slightly wrong with you, and I would like for you to please examine why they might be saying this and kind of check in and see if there might be some truth there to what they're saying and some real reason behind why they might say something like that. But barring that, and I've certainly never had a client come back to me and say, oh my God, I've been threatened with a restraining order because they said hello to somebody. But, barring that, I want you to continue on your path. Again, even if the person says, go jump in a lake, I don't want to talk to you, you're a jerk. Don't respond to what they're saying to you. Do not respond. Even if it's, oh my gosh, I'm just so wonderfully happy to hear from you. I never expected to hear from you. This makes my entire year. Don't respond. Stay on your path. Stay with the messages that we have kind of pre-designed for you specifically. Do not respond to anything the person says. And I know that's going to be tough because you care about them. You want to have this dialogue that you've been waiting to have for probably a very long time. And I want you to really stay on this path because it's going to allow you to build sort of a level of trust between you again, that nothing too emotionally charged is going to come up. You're going to be able to build and rebuild that trust. You're going to make this person feel comfortable talking to you again. And in so doing, they're going to let their guard down. And you're going to be able to have a more productive conversation at a later point in time. So I really do want you to stick with that. I have definitely had a couple of clients who have wanted to just respond right away with, oh, I love you, I miss you. Well, not the way to go. Not the way to go. Okay, so just continue with what you're going to say. Of course, you can tailor the next message, the following message in your list of messages that you're going to send, depending on what the person has said to you. If they have given you positive feedback, if they say something like, wow, it's so great to hear from you, I didn't think I'd hear from you again. You can say something in your next message along the lines of, it's so wonderful to speak with you again. That really makes my night or my day or what have you, my week. Definitely don't say it makes your year, because that definitely makes you sound a touch on the stalkery side. But if you say something to just reinforce that positive thing that they've said to you, that's okay. I just don't want you to get into a dialogue with them just yet. Please do try to finish out your entire program before you do that. And so each message is going to build on this positive, concise, vibe that you have built so far. And it's going to, again, build up that level of trust or rebuild that level of trust. It's going to show the person that you're talking to that you have boundaries and that you're not just going to jump right back, into this relationship, that you're not going to jump right back into the situation that you were previously in with them. It's going to show them that you have patience, you have boundaries, you have self-respect, and that you still want them in your life. And that is a really, really powerful statement, folks. You can never underestimate the power of healthy boundaries and healthy communication skills. If you are communicating to this person that you respect yourself and have boundaries and you still want them around, that is a really powerful statement. And that is something that will not go unnoticed by the person that you love and care for so deeply and that you miss so much. So, again, keeping your boundaries really tight, not responding if you're egged on or if you are in any way asked a question. I know that's really, really hard to do if somebody asks you a question right off the bat, but don't respond. And you can keep it positive and continue tailoring your messages to the point at hand and any topically relevant discussion subjects. But I do want you to make sure you're not asking and answering questions, at least for the first 6 to 12 messages, really. Depending on how many you're going to send, I want you to get about halfway through before you start doing question and answer type stuff. And in fact, I would, like I said, if you can complete the program without going there, I think that'll be all to the good for you. So keep that in mind. Now, there is going to come a point during this sort of plan, this scheme, if you will, this evil plan to get back the person that you love and care for with respect and kindness. Imagine that, right? So there's going to come a point at which you are going to have to admit fault for something. Now, you may or may not have actually done anything wrong. I do tend to think that unless you're dealing with a narcissist, sociopath, or other disordered personality type, that, it usually does take two people to end a relationship. So keep that in mind, of course, when you are offering your genuine apology. And again, if you're dealing with somebody who is a disordered personality type, please do not attempt this. Do not attempt this. I have mentioned this and been very explicit about this in my ebook, but I think it bears repeating here. So you don't need to invite toxic folks into your life. You don't need to create toxic situations in your life, right? So please, no reaching out to sociopaths or narcissists or toxic individuals. You don't need that in your life. Nobody does. But unless this person truly is toxic, they are going to genuinely appreciate a heartfelt apology or admission of guilt in some way. And if you really genuinely have not done anything wrong that you can possibly think of to apologize for, when we get to the point of offering this apology or this culpability, this admission that maybe you're not a perfect person, gasp, oh my gosh, plot twist, right? You're not perfect, who knew? But when we get to that point, if you really can't think of anything that you have done that you can genuinely apologize for, I would like for you to express empathy and sympathy and an apology of sorts for making them feel uncomfortable or hurt in any way, or contributing to any feelings of hurt or discomfort or disrespect. I mean, even just offering that basic apology can go a long way toward repairing your relationship. Now, whatever apology you decide to offer, whether it's specific, whether it's situationally relevant, whether it is just a basic, I am really sorry if I have in any way made you feel hurt, no matter what kind of an apology it is, it's got to be genuine. 100% for sure has to be genuine. If you can't be genuine, don't offer it. If you can't be genuine, in fact, I would go so far as to say, don't take part in this program. It is not for you. So, that being said, if you can offer a genuine apology, great. If you can't, don't take part in this program. And if you really haven't done anything wrong, as I just mentioned, apologizing for in any way leading to them feeling upset, hurt, or disrespected or unheard, depending on your situation, we'll know what word and what terminology to use for you specifically. But that's a great apology if you really genuinely can't think of anything you've done wrong. And if you're dealing with somebody who's in an abusive situation or locked in a relationship with a toxic person, it may be that you really haven't done anything wrong, and that the best you can do is say, I'm so sorry if I've made you feel not valued, unheard in some way, hurt, sad, disrespected, right? So there you go. That's kind of an appropriate apology for anyone in any situation, because it's respectful and it's genuine. So I want you to really think hard, though, about what you can apologize for and how you can do it, because this is really going to be the crux of turning the corner with this person. When you've offered an apology, this is going to be about halfway through the program. You are going to then be in a position where you can start building a more positive message from there, and then at some point you're going to actually ask them to see you, to meet up with you. And you really can't do that until you've addressed the issue at hand. And because we're not going to be getting into really serious, long-winded discussions via email, the only way we can address the issue at hand is to offer a genuine, succinct apology that is maybe between 1 and 3 sentences long at most. So I hope that gives you a little bit of an idea of what the program is like. I'm not going to go through every message, every single step right now with you, because that is what my ebook is for. And frankly, your situation is going to differ from my situation and everyone else's situation. So you're going to get past the point of apology. You're going to move into a couple of messages where you're going to reminisce about like old times, positive times, please. No fights or negative times. No more apologizing. You've moved past that point. You're going to be reminiscing about old times. You're going to remind them of fun things that you've done together. Remind them of things that you've liked to do when you were in one another's lives. And you're going to basically play on that positive memory and make sure that they are recalling the same positive things that you are and that you're on the same page there. Getting onto the same page with regard to memory and recalling things that were happy in your past is really important. I think that's really a major reason that people tend to not speak to one another and to end relationships is because they're not on the same page. One of you is reminiscing and thinking about all of the good times, and the other is thinking about what a jerk the other person has been, or, you know, the bad times you've been through. So getting that person to where you're both on the same page and you're both recalling the good times is incredibly important. So again, as I mentioned previously, once you've gotten past that point, you're going to move on to inviting them to see you, to do something with you. Now, please don't be alarmed. Don't be alarmed if you, up until this point, have gotten no reply to any of your messages. It's possible that you'll get a reply to every single one. To be totally frank with you, it's possible that you'll get a reply to every single one because you're approaching things from a different perspective than you have done in the past. And this is going to be very interesting to this person. And they're going to be very encouraged by this. And they're going to want to see what you've got to say here, what you've got to say, and see what you look like and what you're up to in life. And, you know, curiosity is a powerful thing. And leaving someone wanting more is a powerful device. And so I want you, however, to be, you know, to kind of give yourself, before we start, give yourself a goal to meet, and then I want you to sort of surround that goal on both sides with what is the best possible scenario that could come of this. Maybe this person brings flowers to your house and gets down on bended knee and asks you to marry them. I don't know, you know, whether you're thinking about getting back together with a family member, a friend, an ex, or what. But let's say it's your ex-girlfriend, and your ex-girlfriend comes to your house and begs you to marry her and gives you flowers and apologizes for cheating, right? That's the absolute best possible scenario ever. The worst scenario is that she tells you to go jump in a lake and that she never wants to talk to you again, right? So I want you to put your goal out there, focus on your goal, but then give yourself a best and worst possible scenario so that you're able to judge your progress in a balanced way. We're always our own worst critics, and it's always toughest, to be honest, with ourselves, right? So I do want you to make sure that you're able to give yourself that best/worst possible scenario so that you are able to make sure that you're not judging yourself too harshly and just realize that, you know, you are making progress no matter what you've heard or not heard from this person. I want you to be able to realize what progress you're making and to realize that you are making progress. It's easy to write things off and discard things, but please judge your progress accordingly, and that's the way to do it. So I want you to, again, make sure that you realize that you may not hear anything from this person, and you may actually complete your entire set of messages. I haven't had this happen yet, by the way, with myself or with any of my clients, but it's possible that you may hear nothing from this person. They may take a while to get your message. Maybe this isn't the very best way to reach them. It may take them a while to read your message. They may be out of town. They may be dealing with a personal crisis. So I want you to be very realistic and realize that it likely has nothing to do with you if you don't hear from them right away. But I want you to understand that regardless of what the outcome is, you have made an impact on this person's life. And by reaching out to them, you have made a giant step in the right direction, and that you have impacted them. They're not going to just write you off, right? So I want you to realize that no matter what you hear or what you do not hear from this person, please understand that. You may have to go through this process more than once. You may have to do it 2 or 3 times. And if you're saying, oh, well, that's too much, then I'm going to challenge you right here and right now. Are you really committed to getting this person back into your life? I'm going to really challenge you, and I'm going to suggest that if you're not willing to do this 2 or 3 times through, or however long it takes, maybe you're not committed. Now, I'm not going to suggest that you do this 5 times through. That would be quite redundant. But 2 or 3 times, hey, not out of the realm of what seems appropriate, huh? Not out of the realm of what seems appropriate. If you need to complete this program twice, 3 times at most, for this person to talk to you and to get back into this person's good graces and have a chance with this person, is that something you're willing to do? Why not? If you're not, why? Why? What story are you telling yourself in your head that is stopping you from making this appropriate effort? And if you are willing to do it, then great. I'm really proud of you, and I think that you're definitely going to succeed at this. So please feel free to set up an appointment. We can discuss your situation. We can do an initial consultation if you like. 30-minute or an hour initial consultation would be fine, or if you would like to sign on with me and just book me out for a month and make sure that I'm available for at least 2 to 3 consultations during that time, plus phone time and texts and emails and any support that you need in between. I'm happy to do that for you. I'm more than happy to take more than 1 client a month. I've had that question asked of me a couple of times. Do I take more than 1 client a month? Well, yes, of course. Absolutely. I will take as many clients as I possibly can because I care about your success. That really means the world to me. So before we run out of time here, I'm going to tell you, the person that I hadn't talked to in like 3 years responded to me after 2 messages, and we have been talking ever since. We have had our struggles because they're in an abusive relationship, but we have been talking ever since. Pretty amazing, right? You can do it too. Please let me help you. And if you would like to simply read my ebook, I'll be happy to link you to that on my Facebook page. Check me out, Trinity SS Wellness on Facebook. Follow me on all social media platforms at B_well_Trinity. And we'll get you set up. We will make sure that you have the chance to renew your relationship with the most important person in your life. Thank you so much for listening in, and have a fabulous, healthy, well, and wonderfully positive day. Thanks so much, you guys.